I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I promise to do my best to treat everyone fairly. I promise to do my best to be kind to everyone, even if they're not like me. If I see someone being hurt or bullied, I will tell a teacher. Everyone should be able to feel safe and happy in school. I want our school to be no place for hate.
Did you know
Meerkats eat insects?
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome back to our Hoffman Boston House Challenge. Let's see how our classes did for their challenges on earning Twinkle tickets last week. In fourth place, we have the blue classes with 3,088 Twinkle tickets. Nice job, blue. In third place, we have the yellow classes with 3,702 Twinkle tickets. Great job, Yellow House. In second place, we have our green classes with 4,648 Twinkle tickets. Keep it up, green. And in first place, the teams to beat is our red classes with 6,013 Twinkle tickets. Great work, everybody, on earning those Twinkle tickets. Let's keep it up.
Hey All-Stars, I'm so excited to update you on the Edge of All Life expedition. This is being created by a group of National Geographic explorers, one who I'm really close friends with named Kim Young. Now, Kim has sent me a packet, and I've got about 50 Edge of All Life stickers with a map of Greenland, and then maybe the northernmost life is a plant. We don't know. I'm strictly Team Arctic Fox, but this graphic shows that it could be a plant. And remember, All-Stars, we're trying to figure out what is the northernmost life on our planet. And Jeff Kirby, Brian Booma, two explorers on this expedition, are soon going to go to Greenland and try to find out. Their hope is to get evidence that the northernmost life is one of the contenders that we've been exploring. I've got two videos for you today from Jeff Kirby and Brian Booma explaining a little bit about their expedition. I'm going to put that at the end of today's news. So that way, if you and your class would like to watch after the credits, you can check out what these National Geographic explorers have to say about their preparations for finding out what is the northernmost life. I'm also excited about our contender list. We finally have some first graders. Thank you so much for joining. All of the kids who sign up for the Edge of All Life will get stickers until I run out. I think I've got like 50 of them. So if you're one of the first 50 kids, you get an Edge of All Life sticker. You can just go to Seesaw, check out the activity, go through the contenders list, and pick who you think the contender will be. Take care, All-Stars.
Hi friends, welcome back to the National Portrait Gallery. If you remember, you visited this museum 2 times this school year from your classroom, and we talked about portraits. So I have a question for you. What is a portrait? If you said a portrait is an artwork of a person, you're correct. So here you'll see many of the portraits that we talked about in your classroom. And friends, I have a special assignment for you. I would like for you to create a self-portrait. A self-portrait is a portrait that is of yourself. So I would like for you to think about how you would use a portrait to help tell your story and the things that you like to do for fun. So I'm going to share with you 5 clues that help tell your story. The first is pose. If you remember, we talked about how Abraham Lincoln was a president who thinks, and we could tell that through his body language or pose. What will your pose be in your portrait? The second clue is facial expression. That means what the person's doing with their face. Will you smile confidently at the camera like Indra Nooyi? Or will you have a different facial expression to show how you're feeling that day? Next is the background or setting. This means what's behind you in your portrait. You might choose a place that is important to you, just like Julie Packard chose to have her portrait in an aquarium where she works. Next up is clothing. This means what you're wearing in your portrait. You might wear clothing that's important to you, like Lin-Manuel Miranda wearing a costume important to him and his musical Hamilton. The last clue we'll talk about today is objects. That means the things that people are holding in their portraits. You might hold a tennis racket like Arthur Ashe to show a sport that you like to play, or you might hold something else. All of these clues come together to help build your self-portrait. So I want to ask you, what story will you tell with your self-portrait? I'd love to see. Thanks again, and hope to see your self-portraits.
Peace out.
Nice haircut, Alexi. Thank you, Julia. Peace out.
Hey, my name is Brian Buma, and I heard you had some questions about our expedition to the northernmost land on the planet, to Northeast Greenland, where we're going to be looking for the northernmost plants, the northernmost terrestrial life that exists on our planet today. So I wanted to call in and show you some of the gear that we're going to bring, because I heard there was some questions about what gear you bring. So I am the ecologist on the project, but I'm also trying to coordinate the lead and safety information, because going up to remote Greenland, and really any remote area, requires quite a bit of planning. So I'm going to show you some of the things we are bringing, to keep us safe, as well as to take some measurements of plants. So the first thing is we have multiple types of communication devices. We're going to be hundreds and hundreds of kilometers from anywhere that can help, and so we need to be able to contact people right away. So this is a satellite phone. This phone works anywhere in the world, and it actually doesn't talk to cell phone towers. It communicates with satellites. So when you use this, you're calling actually a satellite in space, and it's calling someone on the ground. And this is an inReach. This is a machine with a button, an SOS button on it, and from anywhere in the world you can push that button and folks will know that you need some help. Some other things that we bring for safety are things like ice axes. So we are going to be walking on sea ice. That means slipperiness. We're going to be walking on ice that's actually permanently on a frozen ocean around these areas. So we have things like ice axes and crampons. Crampons are tools that you put on your feet They're very sharp, but they actually go over the boots that we're going to be wearing. And these help us so we don't slip. And then we can't actually use, I mean, we have maps, of course, but we're looking for islands that aren't on maps. So we have to have, pretty basic things like compasses and GPS units, which we, like this, which we then use to figure out exactly where we are. And once we find those plants in that northernmost land, we're going to use things like very powerful but small magnifying glasses that you have to like hold up to your eye and get real close, but they're really powerful, called loops, to identify the species. And when we find them, it's really not that complicated. We put samples in plastic bags. We measure how big they are with measuring tapes, and we write all our observations down in waterproof notebooks. So these are notebooks that can actually get wet. You can write on them in the rain, and they will not fall apart. So science is fun. You don't actually need a lot of fancy stuff to do pretty cool science. So don't hesitate to ask any questions, and I would love to answer more questions and talk with you guys further. Thanks.
Hello everyone, I'm Jeff, and I heard that you had some questions about the equipment that we're going to bring on the expedition. So I'm going as a photographer, but I'm also going to help with some of the mapping. So that means I get to bring lots of equipment. But first, I'll need to bring many different types of cameras. So this is a camera with a really strange lens on it. And this allows me to get really close to things and take macro pictures that also see the whole environment. So this is good for taking pictures of plants. But you can't always walk up to a plant. Sometimes you need to see it from a different angle or from far away. So we'll bring drones like this one. These are good for taking pictures, but also for scouting or looking for new areas. So this will fly around and take pictures with the little cameras that it has in the front. But beyond cameras that fly or that I carry in my hand, we'll bring all sorts of other tools like binoculars or lights that make some of the pictures look more interesting. This is a really good way to make your photos look nicer, is by changing how the light works. But if you're going to make a map, and you can use drones to make maps, you can also bring really fancy GPS devices. So this is a GPS that will give us accurate measurements down to a few centimeters. You have to take it and put it on a big stick, and then it takes a long time for it to warm up. But once it works, you can get really good measurements. So it kind of looks like a big, wizard stick or something. But yeah, when we're up there, we need to stay warm too. So we'll bring very warm boots, nice jackets, and some food that is in bags. Oh, let me show you that. So this is what our food will look like. It comes in little pouches, and then we can pour boiling water in there and it cooks a meal. And this is vegetable tikka with rice, so a kind of curry. But if you have any other questions about equipment or anything, let me know and I will answer them for you. I hope that's helpful.